We all are aware, and we've talked about it on LifeTalk the last couple of months, about this situation that's developed up in Michigan, where some local pro-lifers there, led by Monica Miller, have gone through the dumpster behind Alberto Hodari's death camp and recovered the dead bodies of some babies. And
this is the guy who doesn't wash his hands before abortions.
Well, and he told a group of college students that abortionists have a right to lie to patients, and
right.
Which of course we know they do. Here's just a guy who admits that not only do they do it, but they have a right to do it.
A semi-honest abortionist?
A semi-honest abortionist, although an evil one. Of course, they're all evil. That doesn't change anything. But Monica's here with us. Hello, Monica.
Hi, good to be with you.
Nice to have you here with us. Listen, first off, bring the audience up to date about what you found. Now, there's been 2 incidences, as I understand it, but tell us what happened in these instances.
Well, we started looking through the trash dumpster of Alberto Hodari's abortion clinic in Lathrop Village, Michigan. It's called Woman Care. He owns 5 abortion clinics in the Detroit metro area. And the first thing that we started finding was excessive biohazard waste. It's unbelievable stuff. And, you know, we have this video mounted on YouTube. Anybody can see it for themselves. So we're not making it up. All of the paraphernalia that he uses in the abortion procedures, everything, every single thing, including patient records, were thrown in his trash dumpster behind his clinic in Lathrop Village and his clinic in Sterling Heights, Michigan, as well. Eventually, though, as we were getting more of the trash out of the dumpster, we were discovering the remains of aborted babies. We found up to 23 aborted babies, which, by the way, were buried on the 3rd of May. Bishop John Quinn of the Archdiocese of Detroit officiated at a mass for them, and they were buried at Holy Sepulchre Cemetery. The kind of ironically, while all of that preparations for the burial of those particular aborted babies, we were doing another search of a trash dumpster behind the Women's Advisory Clinic in Livonia. My good friend Lynn Mills, who's been a long-time pro-life activist, was helping us out with the findings behind that particular clinic. And yes, then again, on April the 4th and April 12th, we again found the remains of aborted babies there. Those babies haven't been buried yet, and we're in the process of putting together a funeral service for them. But, you know, we did get quite a lot of news coverage, in particular from the Hodari biohazard waste situation. It was in all of the major newspapers here, as well as Fox News, and the local Channel 4 did extensive coverage of it. Now we know that the Michigan Department of Health is doing an investigation of Alberto Hodari, as well as the abortionist Reginald Sharp. He is the abortionist at the Women's Advisory Clinic in Livonia. And again, on YouTube, we have a video mounted. It's unbelievable. It's no way that I can even begin to describe how bad it is. You have to think of I don't like, you know, just to say this because it's, you know, it's to gross people out, but it is the most bloody, the most horrible wastage you could ever find in a trash dumpster. And these are supposed to be licensed medical facilities, including, of course, the dumping of patient records, which we're pursuing, getting we were talking about bureaucracy, right? We're having to deal with bureaucrats and getting them to move on prosecuting these abortionists, not just for the biohazard waste problem, but for the patient records. It's against Michigan law to dispose of patient records, whole patient records, in a trash dumpster behind their clinics. And,
well, Monica, let me interrupt you a minute and ask you about something to do with that particular issue.
Yes.
The people whose records you have you contacted them because they have a civil suit against Hodari if they want one?
We are in the process of doing that, and yes, and in fact, even the reporter from the Detroit News contacted one of the women, a 17-year-old girl. Her name actually appeared in the March 11th Detroit News story. Wow. If you get the story online, unfortunately, the name has been removed because the girl's mother called the newspaper and says, "Hey, what do you think you're doing, putting my daughter's name in the newspaper?" Right? But that's proof right there that those records came out of his trash dumpster. This is not something we made up. This is not some bogus, let's try to get an abortionist and let's just make something up. And whole records, insurance forms, intake forms, recovery room forms. It was unbelievable.
And Monica,
the names.
When you went to the authorities with this egregious violation of state and possibly even federal law and violating the codes of the Department of Health, when you went to them, rather than receiving this information happily, they actually fined you for $1,100 to come to your house and recover the evidence of a crime. Is that right?
Well, it wasn't a fine. It was a charge. They stuck me with the bill. They said I was responsible for taking the biohazard waste out of the dumpster. Why would I do that, though, of course? I was involved. I was cooperating in their investigation, providing them with evidence of a crime. That's the only reason why I had that stuff. And then, yes, initially they charged me $1,100 for the removal of the biohazard waste from my property.
Now they've backed down from that.
They did finally back down, and I think there's a number of reasons why. First of all, they knew it was ridiculous. Right. Secondly, because I was harassing them to do so, and thirdly, I think a state legislator got after them and said, this looks ridiculous for you. It looks ridiculous for the state of Michigan to be charging a servant, a public, a woman who's trying to do, us a favor, and then you stick her with the bill. I mean, it would be one thing if the bill was like $50, or something like that. Even then, though, that would be not right. But over $1,000 bill.
It's unbelievable.
So they finally did, to their credit. All right, whatever. They have rescinded that charge, and so now, of course, I don't have to pay anything, which is kind of nice. But it's so ironic because Hodari was not charged a single penny, not one dime, not anything for his violation of state law in dumping all that biohazard waste in his dumpster. He got no penalty. So far, there's been no penalties regarding the patient records that he dumped in the trash. And I'm not talking one or two mistakes. Oh, whoops, one or two. Yeah, I'm talking over 200 patient records, whole names, addresses, phone numbers, personal information, how much these women paid for their abortions, when they got the abortions, how far they were in the gestational, how far along the baby was in gestational age, everything. Right. And still, I am waiting for the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office to do something. It's been over 2 months, and I'm working on this. I've talked to the chief of the Warrants Division, and actually he's been pretty cooperative, and I'm not letting this die. He's not going to get away with this. Something has got to happen.
Well, Dr. Miller, you just stay after him. And
that's what I plan to do.
Make it clear to them that you're not going to go away, you're not going to be dissuaded, and please keep us posted on what's going on, and if there's new developments, we'd like to know about them.
Oh, I absolutely will. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm glad she's on the case.
Thank you.
Stay after him, Dr. Miller.
God bless you.
Thank you very much for being with us.
All righty. Bye-bye now.